Hey guys, this is Aquatic Bobs. I'm sorry it's been a little while since I made a video. By the way, my wife Sarah's cooking in the kitchen. It just smells so good, so I feel distracted right now. Alright, so a quick update. I noticed that at the bottom of my tank, some of the algae that I had, the cyanoalgae, is actually starting to die on its own. I'm not covering it up, I'm not sucking it out. It's starting to die on its own. One thing I've noticed over the last few weeks in my tank is that my phosphate levels have actually raised from 0.03 up to 0.1 almost now from the last time that I checked them. So I think phosphates get way overlooked in the mix of our reef tanks. You know, a lot of people, when you ask them about it, still say, let's push for as close to zero as possible. Now, in my experience, I'm starting to find that phosphates closer to zero cause more issues for our tank than it actually is helpful. What's the reason that we shoot for close to zero phosphates anyways? Algae? You don't want algae? Well, when my phosphates were close to zero, I was having algae issues. I know a lot of you have had algae issues with when your phosphates are close to zero. Why is that? It's because it starves out the beneficial bacteria in the tank that outcompetes with the algae. Your tank needs phosphates. That bacteria needs phosphates. Those microorganisms, they need some phosphates in order to flourish and survive. Now, I'm also noticing as my phosphate levels raise that my coral colors are getting even more color. So I started with nitrates and I did a test. As I elevated my nitrates, I started to see more and more color, especially in LPS and more of those fleshy corals. Now I'm starting to elevate phosphates and I'm starting to see even more colors, now even in the SPS like acroporas and montes. I'm starting to see those colors that when they were posted online in the original picture from Top Shelf Aquatics or Aqua SD or Worldwide Corals or even on eBay, those colors that you see, and I know a lot of those pictures are photoshopped and they edit the pictures a lot, but I'm actually starting to see some of those colors with real life, my real eyes. It's hard to believe. It's really cool. I'm excited about it if you can't tell. This is a big deal, you guys, because for the last 4 years that I've been in this hobby, I haven't really known what to expect each new day. I've always set goals and I've always worked hard to achieve something that I feel proud of, that I feel like I can show to others and they would enjoy and love, that I feel like I could bring onto YouTube here and you guys could see it and you could love it and you could appreciate it and learn from my experience. And each day that passes by, I'm starting to see more and more of what I want to see, what I've worked hard to see, what I've spent a lot of time. I've dealt with a lot of frustration, a lot of anxiety, but there's also been a lot of success and a lot of joy along the way. And I'm starting to see more and more now what a lot of the professional reefers out there have been experiencing for years because of consistency, because of maintenance, and because of just doing what's supposed to be done in this hobby. So I just fed my tank. I actually dumped in a whole jar full of, I call it my reef tank smorgasbord. It's a mixture of several different things. I got frozen mysis shrimp in there. I got frozen brine shrimp. I got the emerald entree, which has some of the greens for my blue tang. I've got reef roids mixed into it. I've got Red Sea Reef Nutrition AB+. I've got phytoplanktons. I've got amino acids, 2 different types of amino acids. So Red Sea Reef Nutrition has aminos in it, but I also use AcroPower, and then I use Brightwell Aquatics amino acids, which is for a little bit of everything. So as I've told you guys in some of my recent videos, I haven't really been feeding an excessive amount like I was before. I've started dosing nitrates and dosing phosphates. I lowered my amount of GFO that I was putting in the reactor, and I've kind of been letting the tank settle in on its own. I haven't even been doing any water changes for the last 2 months because I've been seeing good results, number one, and number two, all my levels are either raising or right where they're supposed to be. And when I say raising, I mean raising to what I want them to be. My alkalinity has been solid, calcium, magnesium. The only thing I dose other than nitrates and phosphates is a little bit of iodine, Brightwell Aquatics iodine. And I do 2 drops a week just because I've noticed that as I dose it, it's helped some of the reds and darker purples and maroons in the coral color. Now, I don't recommend everybody just go out and start dosing iodine. The reason I started it is because my water test said that it was low in my system. When I started dosing it 2 drops a week and then sent in another water sample 3 weeks later, I noticed that they were pretty much right on par. They were still a little bit low, but I'd rather have it be a little bit low than start dosing it and it get out of hand. So I know some of you guys have been wondering how much money I've put into this tank. I'm just going to say it's impossible to even tell you how much money I've put into it. What I can say is it's been tens of thousands of dollars. From the time I started until now, it's been tens of thousands of dollars. I've made several $1,000s back. So again, it's really hard to put an exact number on it, but I'm nowhere near caught up to what I've put into it. Now we're starting these new big tanks up at my dad's house. We're done with the plumbing on one. All we have to do is build the return pipes back up to the tank and put the return head in, and then we'll be done with one tank. We're gonna plumb in a frag tank, which is 4 feet by 2 feet by 6 inches deep. And when we get that plumbed in, then we're gonna fill them up. We're going to start adding a couple fish. I have live beneficial bacteria in a bottle that we're going to add to help that cycling process a little bit faster. I have a protein skimmer that's ready to go. Everything is starting to line up. It's starting to add up. And I know some of you guys are probably getting irritated. I am too. One of these videos is going to come out about building the aquariums. And I am working on it. I'm working on it very slowly, but I am working on it. So hopefully they'll be out soon. In fact, I already put together a video and made a video of doing the plumbing and setting up the baffles and the sump that we built. It's pretty cool, the idea that we had. We just bought some plexiglass, cut it to what it needed to be. Then we set in a few baffles in the sump and siliconed them in, let them dry. We clamped them in place and everything. And I already finished that video. It's pretty cool. It's more of like an informational video. One of the things I love the most about this tank is that it's me. It's all about me. None of it is based on what someone else thought or what someone else likes. This tank has been all about what I want, what I like, and the effort that I put into it is, and the reward that I get out of it is because of what I've done, because of what I've come up with. It's pretty cool to see how over these last few years of all the work that you put into something, and as these coral grow and they spread or they multiply and you frag it, you start selling them, you start getting some money back, there's a deep reward in that. You know, at the end of the day when I go to sleep and I think back on all the coral sales that I've made, all the people that I've hooked up, you know, most of the coral that I sell is at a pretty big discounted price. Some people still complain about coral prices, but they just don't understand how much that coral really is. I'm just letting you know that when I sell coral, I'm not doing it to make a huge profit. Yes, I still am going to make a profit. Yes, I need to make some money because I need to be able to continue to grow my tank and to grow my business. Because at the end of the day, that's what this really is. I know it's an uncomfortable thing to talk about and to hear, but that's the bottom line. This is a business. The last thing I wanted to go over in this video is my parameters. I think every video that I put up, there's at least 1 or 2 people who asked, what are my tank parameters? My nitrates right now are at 12 parts per million as of today. My phosphates are at 0.1. My alkalinity is at 9.8. My calcium is 480. Magnesium is 1355. I know, got that extra little bump on there. I don't know what my iodine levels are at. I can't remember even the last time that I checked them. My salinity is 1.026 on the money. My temperature is 78.2 degrees. My total system volume is probably about 125 gallons. I have a 120 gallon tank and a 30 gallon sump, but after all the sand and rock and everything that's in there, I'm working with about 120 gallons of water. So bottom line is, at the end of the day, we have to live with the decisions that we make for each of our reef tanks. Our reef tanks are in our own houses, in our own living rooms, our own basements, our own bedrooms even. We put these tanks in here because we want them here. Let's do our best to take care of them. Let's do our best. Let's put our heart into it, like we really care about these things. I hear from so many people, I'm gonna do this, or I'm gonna start that, or I'm gonna go this direction, or I'm gonna add this. And I keep hearing them say it, say it, say it, but they never just do it. They never just take that step and buy that coral that they've really wanted, or make a change to their sump, or add a sump and switch from a canister filter to a sump, or add that light, or make that investment. Guys, if we're not going to make the investments and we're not going to spend the time to do these things, and we're just talking our way through these situations and around them, we're really not going to achieve the best looking tank that we want. Stop saying that you want it and go out and make it happen. If you need to work some extra to make some extra money, if you need to go donate plasma, heck, I even donate plasma. I get $60 every time I go twice a week. I get that extra money so I can put it towards the things that I'm passionate about, the things that I love, take my wife out for dinner. It's like we keep talking about these things, but at what point are we just going to take that step and do it? All right, thanks for watching, you guys. I appreciate all your kindness, your support, your comments, your encouragement. A lot of you guys have been so kind to me, even more kind than a lot of people that I know in life, in person, and we just have a relationship over YouTube. Some of you guys have just been so great, and I really appreciate you guys. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, give me your critiques. I'll learn from it. I'll accept it, I'll learn from it. Sometimes it stings a little bit, but I want to grow. I want to make these videos better. I want to keep trying harder. I want to keep putting more videos out. All right, guys, thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Aquatic Bob's out.